Here at MPOWER Tools, we're always thrilled when our customers come back to us showing us how they use our products in ways that we never envisioned. And utilizing the MHL accessory for the CRB7 router base to cut accurate fluting on parts is just such an occasion. The twin adjustable fences on the MHL guide the router accurately along the part. And the CRB7 allows for very precise location of the flutes side to side along parts both large and small. So let me show you how that works. Now the layout of the flutes is pretty simple. I've got a 5.5-inch post here, and I'm going to have 4 sections which are divided by 3 flutes. Now I can mark each of these lines and strike a line going along the flute, but that's a lot of marking that I don't actually have to do since the jig is going to guide everything for me. The CRB7 is now configured with the MHL accessory. I'm going to set the fixed fence against my part and then use the dial to bring the adjustable fence in just so that it's touching. No play side to side. Lock it down. And then make sure that it slides okay. And everything looks fine here. Now we can add the router. Nothing different about the router here. We're just going to slide it onto the rails, the rods on the CRB7. Get it close to where we want it. Lock down the adjustable rod, and then set the side-to-side position of the router in the standard way. And I'm going to be setting it to the marks that I've already made on the post. So I can use the micro adjust, get everything where I want it. Typical CRB7 operations, nothing different here. And then lock down the other post. And now I can set the depth stop on my router for the proper depth of the flute. With the router and the CRB7 set up properly, I can now slide my unit down until the bit reaches the stop line that I set up for my flutes. And I have 2 options here for setting how to stop the whole jig when I get to the end. One is I can use the marks on the fences, mark my part, and just do it as a visual stop coming until the marks line up, and that's where I stop my router. I can do that, and if I'm careful, it'll be very accurate. But it's actually a little bit better, when possible, to go ahead and set a clamp here. And now there's a physical stop. When I get to this end, there's no way to go beyond it because there's a clamp here. Now, as I rotate the part, I can mark the edge of the clamp, strike that line around the post, and make sure that my clamp is always in the same place. But the clamps are not always an option. Here, my stop line is fairly close to the end of the post. If I bring the MHL CRB7 router combination up to where I want to stop my flute, I'm too close to the end of the panel to be able to stop the flute there. But as long as I'm careful, I can mark my line here, strike it all the way around the post, and as long as I'm careful, as I'm feeding my router, when I reach that mark, I can stop and withdraw, and that should work fine. Now that all 4 of the first flute are completed, I can slide the router along the CRB7, get it close to where we want it, use the microdial to set everything exactly where we want. Lock it all down. Now when I have to reverse the CRB7 in order to cut the outer flutes, the router is not centered on the CRB7 base. So the stop marks that I had originally made for the first 2 flutes are not going to be the same as I need now. So I set it up again with the router still in the center flute, but reversed, brought it down until it met the end, and then marked the new location. Everything else is exactly the same, but I had to mark new locations on both ends. Apparently my router is about 5/16 off center because this is 5/8. So I marked out both ends, and everything else will proceed the same way. You can find out more about the MHL, the CRB7 router base, or any of our great products by visiting our website at www.m-powertools.com.